Chosen ones. How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing today? Let me see if I can lean my seat back here. I'm in the car, relaxing. How's everyone doing? Come on in, chosen ones. I have a message for you today. I have a download a message for the chosen ones. How's everyone doing today? Let me know how you're doing when you come in. How is everyone doing? I am doing well. I'm blessed. I have no complaints. God has really been good. I'm up this morning in my right mind. How the old people used to say, thank God for being in my right mind. I understand that statement. As I get older, I understand exactly what they meant. You hear me? When life go to lifing, I understand that statement more than ever. How you doing, Jacqueline? But I thank God that I'm up in my right mind, doing well, able body. Hi, LaTanya Lindsay. How are you doing, dear? But I want to come talk to you all. I got this message on the way here. I got this message on the way back from brunch and fellowship, with the friend. Hello, Matt. How is it going, dear? I pray all is well with you and your family. Thank you all for coming in. Who else is popping up? Give y'all a shout out. Thank you to my membership members. The Fat Grapes Chosen Ones membership. You're welcome to join. No pressure. That's good to hear, Matt. All is well with you. But I have a message. I don't know how long I'm going to be because, I don't rehearse my messages. But I just wanted to come and talk about the topic here. What's next? What's next? That's the question I have for you all. What's next? And ask yourself, repeat after me, what is next? And I feel this message because, see, I'm not a person that's big on excuses. I understand we have all gone through something. We're all going through something. Hi, Nikiana Hayes. How are you doing, dear? Thank you for being part of the membership. Yes, it's been a while. Where have you been? I hope all is well with you, dear. I pray all is well with you and your family. But I wanted to come share this message because this is a question. I got this downloaded in my spirit on the way home, right? You already coming to receive, LaTanya, huh? You say this message is for you. It probably is, dear. But I got this message on the way home. And the question was just, what's next? That is the question that was dropped in my spirit. What is next? You all know when I come bring messages, I'm not a person big on excuses. I don't like excuses. Yes, we're all going to go through our hardships. Listen, if I gave you a rundown on everything I've been through, just a rundown, I think some of y'all would be depressed leaving off this live. Look, it's not funny, but some of y'all will be depressed leaving off this live. But what I've learned is I've learned to trust God in all things. I've learned to learn. That's what I've done. I've learned to learn from the things that I've gone through. I've learned to extract the lessons from it. But the question that's been dropped in my spirit is to ask you all, what's next? I know you don't been evicted. I know you've been betrayed. You've been laid off your job, right? You've been laid off your job. You had people to walk away from you. You had people to leave you. You had people to divorce you. You had people to do all manners of evil to you. And I know, I've been there. Been there, done that. Okay? People conspiring against you. People talking about you like we say down here. People talking about you like a dog. I didn't know dogs will talk, but that's what they say. Talking about you like a dog. Making you seem like you got a disease or something, a contagious disease. Yes, they have. You've been the outcast. You the black sheep. You've been ostracized, talked about, mistreated. Sound like that Shirley Caesar song. Is that Shirley Caesar talking about mistreated? You've been going through all manners of evil. So the question is, what's next? What are you going to do about it? That's what I be asking. That's what I ask people. What are you going to do about it? You can talk about what your mama did, talk about what your daddy did, the dog, the cat, the parrot. Your parrot flew away, cursed you out and flew away. You know them parrots can talk. The parrot done laid you out. And the parrot ran away. Now, what are you going to do about it? You done got fired from that job. You don't have too much money left. You can't call on the people who called on you. You can't rely on the people who used to rely on you, because you know they're not going to be there for you like that. You already know that, but still you were there for them. Right? What are you going to do? Crying about it is not going to help. Talking about it is not going to help. Being depressed about it is not going to help. It's not going to help. You complaining about it is not going to help. Worrying about it is not going to help. So the question is, what's next? That's what you have to ask yourself. What is next? Think about that. You can't sit there and complain. Don't be sitting on social media, strolling on social media, and wasting your time. What's next for you? Oh, LaTanya, you asking the right person, dear. You're asking the right person. He'll give you the right answer. But one thing I'm going to tell you, dear, you got to be ready for that answer. Be ready for the answer that he gives you. Sometimes we ask God for things and he show us and tell us what we need to do. We don't want to do that because we don't feel confident. We don't feel comfortable. Right? Just be ready for whatever he tells you to do. Be ready for it. Even if it sounds crazy. Let me tell you this, LaTanya. If it sounds crazy and look crazy to people, be obedient to what God tells you to do. Because see, one thing I've learned, and I've learned this over the past, I've been knew it, but I've come to know it even more, right? Since the 2020 happened. One thing I've learned about God, he doesn't do things in a traditional way. He doesn't do things how we've been taught and groomed in society, how things are supposed to go. He don't use people who we feel is qualified, right? He don't use people who are decorated in their degrees and certificates. They look good. They smell good. He don't use these people like that all the time. The world says you got to be decorated and painted up and degreed up. The world says that. But God says, whosoever. He didn't say whosoever will with a degree, who looks good, whosoever will with abs, whosoever will with a nice body, whosoever will with a nice hairdo, nice outfit. No. That's not what he's looking for in this season. He's looking for some Davids in this season. He's looking for Davids. Was that David? Who was that? David? Who went to fight Goliath? He looking for Davids. Who's going to be bold? Who's in the wilderness fighting their tigers and lions and bears? You dealing with your generation of curses. You fighting the demons in the secret place. You're fighting demons behind closed doors. You're in your wilderness. You're dealing with yourself. You're dealing with your heart. You're forgiving people who've mistreated you, who don't deserve to be forgiven. But we can't say that, because if we want God to forgive us, we have to forgive others in order to get our forgiveness. But you're doing the work. You don't want to forgive, but you know you have to forgive. And you're doing the work so that you could be blessed. You're doing the work. Yep. You're fighting your lions and bears, as I've stated. You're doing all the work you need to do within yourself. You're in the wilderness, spending time with God, asking him, what's next for me, Lord? And be obedient and do whatever he tells you to do. It's not going to look how it looked before. It's not going to look how people want it to look. And that's the problem. That's the problem right there. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about how God is doing things in their life. Be obedient and listen to what he tells you to do in your life. Because we all know how he blessed me. He's going to bless you in a different way. We're both getting blessed, but in a different way. Because my needs are not your needs. God knows what you need. He knows what you need. You know what it is you're asking God for. And where people get caught up at is they start looking at other people and what God is doing in their life, where someone else is in their life. And you go to wanting and coveting what someone else has, when God is saying, no, what I have for you is for you. And being thankful for what it is that God is doing in your life. That's why he tells us not to covet. He tells us not to covet because you don't know what that person had to go through. Hi, Keisha. You don't know what that person had to go through or what they're asking for, what their needs are. Everybody's needs are different. Everybody's needs are different. So we have to be careful not to get into this covetousness where we want and jealous of someone else what they want. No. He said he will supply all of our needs. Not all of our jealousy and wants because we see the neighbor getting blessed with certain things. If we could learn to be content and happy with what we have, most of you all will start being blessed more. You'll start seeing blessings more because you'll be so focused on what God is doing in your life. That's what's wrong with most people. They're not focused on what God is doing in their life because they're so busy watching someone else. Hi, Tyrenia. How are you doing, dear? I pray all is well with you. When we focus on what God is doing in our life, we'll see that God is providing our every need. We'll see that he's ordering our steps and providing our every need. But you can't see what he's doing for you because you're so busy watching someone else on Facebook. You're busy watching somebody else on Instagram you're too busy watching someone else highlight reels that you can't focus that God is providing meals for you. He's paying your bills. You have a roof over your head, clean clothes. Things that everyone don't have access to. There is a lot going on in the world. People are not being able to afford a roof over their head because of inflation and because of things are becoming so, expensive. And some of us still have the audacity. When I tell you, some of us still have the audacity to be ungrateful and to not thank God for what he has done for us. We should be getting up. If we waking up and the rain is not touching us and we don't have to have a tent to sleep in or anything like that, we should be thanking God. Even with some people got the tent, they're probably still thankful because before they didn't have a tent. They were just sleeping in the open. But whatever it is, give God thanks for it. I know I give him more thanks than I don't even have the I don't even have the words to fix in my mouth to complain about anything. To say I need anything extra. Like, I'm thankful for what I have. Because I know it could be worse. So I just want to say that for somebody. Somebody just have to be thankful. Be thankful for where you are. When you show God that you're thankful and you give thanks every day, Tyrenia, yes, every day you give thanks daily, because I sure do. If the only thing I do is thank him for opening my eyes and I can feel my hands and my toes move, I'm able to get up and walk, I'm thanking him for something. Yes, Patty. I'm thanking him for something. Because we could easily get so caught up and consumed and more. And there is nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with it. because he said he wants us to have life and have it more abundantly. His word says that. But I'm talking about when you can't recognize that you're living in abundance, that you have a lot to be thankful for, and you're sitting there complaining. And soaking and basking and just being ungrateful. That's a problem. That's a problem. But ask yourself what's next for you. This is not the time to be complaining, stuck in your past, worried about your future. Don't be worried. What's next for you? What's next for me is that I'm just going to trust God daily. What's next for me is to increase my faith, study the scriptures on faith, study the scriptures on belief, increase my faith, and trust God daily for my daily bread. Trust him daily and be obedient in what he tells me to do. Be obedient. I'm going to come back and do another message about using your gifts. I did one a while back, but this morning he gave me something to talk about using your gifts. Using your gifts. And it's just a short message, but I'm going to talk about that. It's because some of you all have not been using your gifts. And you're not pleasing God because you're not using what he has given you. He gave you gifts and you should be using those gifts, and you're not using them. And some of you all are miserable because you're not using what he has given you. You're using what other people said you should be doing, but you're not using the gifts God gave you. You're not using the gifts. Because see, this world has taught us that we should be doing a task. I'm going to have to come back and do my message. The world has taught us to be doing a task. Y'all doing tasks on jobs. Y'all not using y'all gifts. That's why y'all miserable. Some of y'all, that's why y'all miserable. Not all of us. I was one of them. I can talk from experience. I was one of them doing tasks. It's easy to do a task, but are you using your gifts? Are you doing what comes natural to you? Are you doing what makes you feel good? Are you doing the things that God put in you to help others? You around here tasking. You tasking it out. You're not fruitful. You're not using your gift. Chosen ones. We out here being disobedient. We out here being some rebellious children. Your gift is wired in you to sustain you. And I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. He put a gift in all of us. But I'm going to come back and do that message. I'm going to come back and do that message. Probably later on today. Or because I have to go take care of something. But use your gifts. He put those gifts in you for a reason. It'll bring you more satisfaction. You won't be as depressed as you are. Some of the chosen ones are miserable and going through anxiety because you're not operating in your fullest potential. Some of y'all hate y'all jobs. You hate that job. You don't even like going to it. The job made some of y'all sick. Some of y'all are getting sick because you're going to that job that you hate, doing tasks. You're just doing the task that they trained you to do, and you want to do something that is opposite. That's why some of these degrees are not working for people. People got all these degrees, and they doing something totally different. Not all of you. It's some of you. You feel like you need another degree because we've bought into the world system of telling us some things you need degrees for. I don't want you operating on me. You need to go to school, learn how to be a surgeon. I don't want you doing my surgery now if you haven't went to school. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't want to get all these certificates. You got 5 degrees, and now you making candles. You selling candles. Because you're good at it. You're gifted at it. You got all these degrees, now you crocheting for a living. You selling clothes. Let me get off here. You got all these degrees, right? And now you are a cook. You done became top chef. You been had the gift. But because it wasn't something that you respected, you just felt like you had to go and get another degree. You got all that debt. All that debt, and you're not even operating in that field. All that debt. And you doing something totally different. But because you wanted mom and dad to be happy, you did what they wanted you to do. And you know you wanted to just go and paint. You want to go paint up the city. But because they told you, and because you wanted to please them, you didn't operate in your gifts. And you don't have to do nothing. Your gift is something that you didn't have to do anything for. It was automatically given to you. It came in the world with you. You just have to discover it, but it came in the world with you. That's your gift. So what's next for you? I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the next message. That's all I wanted to come and talk to you all about. Hopefully this message resonated with some of you. But what's next for you? That's the question. What's next? Ask yourself that question and wait for God to answer. What I heard, what was that thing? Somebody said, prayer is talking to God. And they say meditation is waiting for him to answer. So pray and ask God, what's next for you? And meditate on his word. Meditate on his word. And in meditation, he'll give you your answer. You're welcome, LaTanya. He'll give you your answer. But trust and trust God when he give you the answer. Trust him. It's not about people. Remember that. It's not about your mama. It's not about your dad. 222, yeah, Miss Candace. It's confirmation for somebody, girl. I'm still seeing them numbers. 222-333-111. I know God is still speaking. Yes, he is. But trust, LaTanya, trust what he put in you. It may sound foolish to people. When it sounds foolish, that's when you know it's God. Because he said he'll take the foolish things. He'll take the foolish things. we're gonna talk about we're gonna come back and talk about foolish things when it pertains to God. I think I'm gonna remember that. I'll be having so many messages, but I'm going to remember to do a topic on foolish things. Foolish things is, let me tell you, when God is talking to you and people don't think you're crazy. No, when God is talking to you, people are going to think you're crazy. That's when you know God is talking to you. When people say you're crazy, that's God. You got to remember, especially when you're communing with him now. When you know you're hearing from God, when you're communing, people are going to think you're crazy. And you have to be okay with that. Because God will do stuff like, he'll tell you to give your car away. He'll tell you to give your car away. He'll tell you to give clothes away. He'll tell you to give those things that you really like and enjoy away. Sometimes he'll tell you to sell different things, but it don't sound right to people. That's why you need to be listening to God and not the people. He'll tell you to do foolish stuff. He'll tell you to stop and you'll see a stranger. He'll tell you to stop and give that stranger $50. You don't know them people. He'll tell you to give this man $50. Give this man $25. I remember one story I heard. I'm gonna say this, so I gotta go. One story I heard, there was this guy, and he had got to a point where he didn't believe God. He said the only way he was gonna believe there's a God if wherever he's going, right? Wherever he's going, and the lady, this is so powerful though, but this is just a summary of this thing too. He said the only way he'll believe in God if he sees somebody doing a cartwheel. He said the only way he'll believe in God if he sees somebody doing the cartwheel. So there was this lady. She was a minister. She was going to minister at this place, and she said for some reason she would usually put on her skirt and just go about her business. But this time, say she found it in her spirit to put on some of the little leggings underneath her skirt. And she didn't know why she was doing it. She just was being obedient. She said it sound crazy. See, God had you doing stuff that sound crazy. So the lady was going to the area where the guy was going to. This guy, he was going to this area who didn't believe in God per se. Who said he was only going to believe in God if he sees somebody doing the cartwheel where he's going. So the lady put on the tights with the skirt. And she said for some reason, when she got to where she was going and she was on the stage, she said she just felt like she needed to do a cartwheel. Say something told her to do a cartwheel on the stage. She don't know what the something. She ain't gonna say she don't know what the something was. She said it was the strangest thing, but she felt like God was really telling her to do a cartwheel. She said she never did anything like that. But by her being obedient to the voice, listening to the voice, the lady did a cartwheel. And at this event, this man gave his life to God because the lady did a cartwheel. Because he said, that's why you got to watch what you be asking God. You got to pick. But I tell you, you have to be careful when you be making these declares and decrees out of your mouth. Because my grandmother used to say, God will make a lot out of you. And he sure did. He brought that man right on in. And he been a believer ever since. And I think this guy who was telling the story, I think he became some type of minister or something. Some type of, bishop. I don't know. But he became somebody. It was a story I heard a while ago. He became somebody who, serving God and telling the gospel and stuff like that. But yes, isn't that a story? He said he's not going to believe in God because too much was going on in the world. And you know how people try to dismiss God and come up with their excuses not to believe. But that lady sure did a cartwheel. She did a cartwheel on stage. And that guy was right there to witness it. Because he said that was the only way he'll believe in God. But I said all that to say this. God will take the foolish things. He'll take the foolish things. And I'm not talking about religion. But I'm going to put the note in there to talk about the foolish things. And I'm going to talk about some of the foolish things that I did that God was telling me to do that didn't make sense to people. And some of the foolish things I heard people talk about, or the foolish things that, God will do that people don't understand. And to make the point that he don't do stuff like the world. Because the world tell us we got to see it. And I said this before and I keep saying it. We got to see it. This is what the world tells us. It's not true, or I don't believe it until I see you do it. That's what the world says. But the word says you got to believe it first. That means you don't see it. You just believe it could happen. The word says you got to believe it. The word, God's word. So you got to believe it before you can see it. And that's what I do. I believe it. Then I believe it. Then I'll see it. It'll come to pass. But that's what I want to talk to you all about. What's next for you? So we got so much to talk about. I have so many messages. Sometimes I want to make the messages shorter, but I don't have control over that. I really don't have control. I come and I say what needs to be said, and then I go on about my business. I wish I could shorten the message. I wish I had control over just saying it, in a little summary. But that's not my calling to summarize things. I got to say it how it's given to me. Right? So y'all be blessed, and I'll come back later on, okay? Talk about our gifts.